Welcome. Hello, everyone. Thank you for being here. Please let us know where in the world you're joining from. I'm always interested. We have quite a global audience that shows up for these. We're doing this one at a later time. You may have noticed if you've been here before. Our speaker today is in Bali. So let us know where in the chat you are joining from, where in the world in the chat. So I'm in Canada right now, near Vancouver. Isabel, where are you today?
Yes, so I am calling in from Bali.
Oh, in Canggu, right?
Yes.
Amazing. So beautiful. And so what time of day is it for you?
Yeah, it's 9 in the morning.
Okay,
Good.
morning for you. We got another person from San Francisco. Hi, Lisa. We got Carlotta from Costa Rica. Amazing. So put in the chat where you're joining from. It's always nice to know who's tuning in from where. And I'm going to introduce you to today's speaker because Isabel has got a lot of amazing information for you. I just had a peek at her presentation backstage. So I want to pass the mic over to her as quickly as possible. If you are new to our webinar series, my name's Sam. I have been hosting this webinar series now for SafetyWing for over a year. I've had the pleasure of meeting amazing, talented creators like Isabel who come in here and teach us things that we really should know in order to grow our online businesses, increase sales, to ultimately grow our freedom, right? And be able to have that location independence to tune in from anywhere in the world, which so many of you are doing today. I see Jane's here from Seattle. Amazing. And so our speaker that we're getting to learn from today is Isabel. Isabel is the digital nomad and full-time travel blogger from Singapore. She started her travels by first spending 6 months in Europe, visiting 16 countries, 55 cities, and learning 11 European languages. So quite a start. Then she explored the North and the South Islands of New Zealand and worked in Japan. Since she has been redefining the meaning of travel, focusing on more independent adventure now and experiential travel, and now helps others through her coaching in SEO work to ensure that people get the most out of their online presence and rank faster on Google with SEO. So thank you, Isabel. Welcome.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, we're so excited to have you here. I know I can learn a lot of that. I am always thinking about how can I get more traffic to my own website, to my podcast page, without having to spending more money on ads or doing things like that. So I'm excited to learn.
Totally.
And we are going to do a Q&A at the end. And so if you have questions that come up during the presentation, a few of you found the chat box, amazing. There's also a Q&A box. So put your questions for Isabel there. And at the end, I'll come back on and we'll do a little fireside chat. A couple more things from me before I pass things over to her. This webinar series is powered by SafetyWing. If you haven't heard of SafetyWing, you should definitely look into this company. SafetyWing has a vision of building a global social safety net for remote workers and nomads, right? I'm guessing many of you tuning in fall into one of those buckets, maybe both. And so SafetyWing is creating a suite of products with all of us in mind and has a mission of wanting to become your home country on the internet. And so their fastest growing product is Nomad Insurance. And Nomad Insurance protects you with affordable health and medical travel coverage anytime you're working outside of your home country. And so that is our most popular product. It works like your favorite subscriptions, whether you go to one country that month or 10 country that month, you'll be able to be fully protected. We also have an amazing ambassador community, which you'll learn a bit more about that soon. And I believe you're one of our ambassadors, right, Isabel?
Yes, that's right.
Amazing. So that's another great way to get involved. I will pass things over to you to get your presentation started now, but I'll be here the whole time tuning in and taking lots of notes, I'm sure.
Cool. Yeah, thanks, Sam. Let me just share my screen. Everyone can see it. All right.
That looks
Yes.
perfect.
Awesome. All right. Thanks. Thanks for having me. So let's get right into it. Quick introduction about myself. I am Isabel and I've been blogging actually since 2006. I kind of started just journaling online, and then I started a hobby travel blog called Belle Around the World in 2015. This is my Instagram handle. At any point you decide to share this webinar and tag me today, I'll be sure to repost them. So between 2015 and 2018, I was juggling between studies and then working in Singapore in a job I find little meaning in. I'm sure you know this classic story already. Like, sure, it paid decent, but personally, I didn't feel super fulfilled. I was constantly itching to get out of my seat. I wanted to be more involved in the travel space. And that's something that's not possible when you have to be at your desk 40 hours a week. So long story short, I bought a one-way ticket to New Zealand to stay for 6 months, and then went on to live in Japan for another 8 months. I started working on my dream to make a full-time income blogging. So in 2019, well, the rest they say is history. I started traveling full-time, and then I went into SEO coaching. My blog thus became a gateway to experience adventures I could never dream of doing. So yeah, as Sam mentioned, I've been a SafetyWing ambassador since 2019. I'm very grateful for SafetyWing to support me on my full-time travel / nomadic journey from the beginning. So if you're not yet a SafetyWing ambassador, you can get $100 bonus for signing up and making your first qualifying referral. I believe the link will be shared in the chat. And also you can get an additional $500 bonus for completing 5 qualifying referrals. So this is kind of my snapshot, a little snapshot of like some of the earnings I've done over the year since 2019 when I joined. And it's like more or less somewhat passive, So that's really great. And then since embarking on this journey, I'm been honored to do speaking engagements in Thailand, Poland, Bulgaria, Vietnam, been invited to podcasts as well as on newspapers to spread the joy of travel blogging and show others it can actually be done and empower more people to do the same. Over the years as a travel blogger, I've partnered with various top travel and hospitality brands around the world. So here's a quick question for you guys. Have you audited your site before, or do you know what a site audit is? Have you done it before on your website or your blog? You should be able to see the pop-up. Curious to hear what you guys think. Cool. All right, now let's go on to why we... Oh, okay, yeah, I've got some 50% of you occasionally do it. 50% of you have never done it. So great time to be here because we're going to talk all about site audits. So yeah, the question, right? Why do we have to do a site audit? Imagine we run an apple farm and Google is the quality assurance guy. Their goal is to serve the best apples to their customers, aka the users browsing the internet using Google. So Google will take stock of all your apples that you have. And in this case, your posts, your pages, and then they will rank them according to the overall quality of your posts, right? Based on your site score. So if they find that you have posts that have low visits or people that are clicking away from them as soon as they land on your post, they'll understand from the user behavior that maybe you have bad apples because the blog posts aren't really benefiting readers or answering their questions. So this would thus hurt your site's quality rating. Remember, we as users, we go to Google to search for answers, right? So Google rewards sites that answers users' questions. They reward sites based on positive user experience, such as how long a user stays on your site and how they interact on your site. So for those of you who have done a site audit before, here's the question: how often do you do it? There should be a poll pop up.
Yes, I'm just launching it now. There you go.
Do you do it regularly, at least once a month, occasionally quarterly, or twice a year, 3 or 4 times a year, or probably never? Let's see. Okay, not too bad. Well, okay, one of you do it quite diligently. Well, I would say a rule of thumb is to do a site audit at least once a year, especially with the start of the new year. Everything is like a new year, right? So you would want to update your posts to the new year's information. Ideally, at least twice a year. Always update your posts. So let's go into the thick of it, auditing your site. So remember we talked about the apple farm, right? So your bad apples are kind of like your least valuable content. And we want to remove all these underperforming, low quality pages with the goal to improve the overall quality of a website. So how do we look for these least valuable content? I'm sure you guys all have Google Analytics. You can take a screenshot or a photo of this page if you're still confused with GA4. I know you're not alone. So under engagement, under landing pages, we try and filter it to, I'll just filter it to the last calendar year. So 1st of January to the 31st of December. And then filter it based on lowest session to the highest session. And then go through 30% of your least performing pages and decide if they can be deleted or combined. So what are some of the things to consider when you decide whether or not to delete them or to rework them? So there are a few guiding questions. To it with it, right? I know our blog's direction can shift over time. Maybe 1 minute we're doing solo travel, backpacking around the world. Next minute we met somebody on the road and we decided to do couple travel or van life travels. And then, the next hot minute you are family and traveling together. So it's okay for you to transition over time. It is, after all, a personal journey. But you should have a consistent team and build your authority upon that, because Google's always looking about consistency and building your authority in the niche. So think about like whether those low performing posts are still part of that theme that you want to be known for. Secondly, think about your information. Is it outdated? It's 2024, right? Are you still blogging about information from 2019? So that's something to consider. And then does it also target keywords with good search traffic potential? If it is something as popular as like how to travel on a budget, that is probably one of the most competitive keywords in the world. And if you have a post about that, you're most likely not gonna be able to rank on Google anymore. So then it's better to prune it off. Give me 1 second. My laundry just came. All right. Next thing. So now I'm curious to hear, over to you, what your blog is about. So in 3 words or less, nothing more. Tell me what your blog is about. You can put it in the chat below. I'm curious to hear what kind of blogs you guys have. Good. It is a big one in the coming years. It's really becoming trendy. That's great. Anyone else? Okay. So now that we have those guiding questions, based on those guiding questions, you can then decide whether you want to delete them, merge into one mega cornerstone post, or update it. So put those that you decide to keep aside. I recommend having a list or a database of some sort. We'll discuss more about how to rework those content with proper keyword research and on-page SEO to make them into cornerstone content. So for those that you've decided to delete, you're going to get this page, right? A 404 page not found if you decide to delete the post. You don't want to lead your readers to a broken page or have them bounce off because their attention is valuable. So what you want to do with those pages that you deleted is to redirect them. Basically, if you decide to remove those pages, make sure to put a 301 redirect, which is something, so for example, this is a rank math plugin. I highly recommend having this plugin if you don't have already. It's a great SEO plugin. Under rank math, the plugin navigate to redirections. And so this is like, this is one example of a post that I deleted. So this is source URLs. You put the URL of the post that you decided to delete, and then the destination URL. So basically, where do you want to redirect the users to? So easy stuff. But definitely you need to have them if you decide to delete the pages. On to irrelevant pages. Google takes stock of everything that you index. So the more irrelevant pages you index, the more your content is diluted. So content that doesn't need to be ranked on Google, you can no index them. So again, this is also in Rank Math plugin. It's free. You can go on to titles and meta and then down to the post categories and then just check the no index checkbox. You can do the same for text pages because you don't really need to archive pages if they are thin. Having broken pages is a sign of bad SEO, and it goes back to user experience. So to find out if you're linking to broken pages, so like let's say we've deleted some of the pages, but we've done internal linking, but we don't know where we've linked internally to. There are a few ways to do that. You can download, there are plugins for you to identify broken pages within WordPress. There are also Chrome extensions, which is the one that I use. It's called Check My Links. I have this screenshot here. So basically you go to, this is a bit manual. You go to individual pages and then you click on the Check My Links Chrome extension. And then they will start crawling and highlighting all of the links on that page. Anything that's broken, it will be highlighted in red. So you like instantly know what are the broken pages. This is a bit manual. So if you want to just have something or a website that scrapes all of your pages, you can do that with brokenlinkcheck.com or drlinkcheck.com. So there's that. Using some of these strategies that I taught, was able to achieve evident results in just 1 month, just like from pruning and just from improving her existing content. She was able to rank her articles from the 5th page to the 1st page of Google search, which goes to show that you don't need to be a super established website to be ranking. You just need to be more strategic and be pruning your content regularly. Now, this is a study that analyzed over 80 million keywords and billions of search results to understand how users engage with the search engine result page. It shows that the first result that you see on Google search has an average click-through rate of 28.5%. So assuming 1,000 people are searching for a particular keyword per month, 300 of them will click on the first result. If you're in position 4 or lower, less than 100 people will click through to your article each month. And that is why it's so important to rank as high up on Google search as possible. And that is why we can't neglect our most valuable content. So in the reverse, on the flip side, you can look at your most valuable content based on, again, the same Google Analytics sheet, but this time sorting it based on descending order from the most sessions to the least sessions. And then we want to re-optimize the top 30% of your best performing posts. So if you already have posts that are ranking, like position 1, 2, or 3, I would leave them alone. But if you are in maybe position 4 to 10, like you're still on the first page, but you're not ranking, high enough on the first page. Based on our study above, from the previous slide, we know how important it is to just bump up those rankings, and you'll get a significant amount of improvements from the traffic to gain. So how do we optimize or your narrow the posts that we want to work on? Let's start with the first 30%. What keywords are you already ranking for particular posts? And to find that out, you can go to Search Console. You can it can either be the general page and then you click on query, or you can go to a specific page. So for instance, this one I filtered to a specific page here. And I look at under queries, I look at all the queries, all the keywords that the post is ranking for. And then you want to increase the frequency of the keyword terms you are already getting impressions for. Another way to do that is to look at your competitors and benchmark against them. Because our goal is all to provide the most comprehensive article for the keywords that we want to rank for. So look at who's outranking you. What kind of keywords are they ranking for that you are not ranking for? Because these are all potential assets, potential information to include. You can do that with keyword research tools like Key Search, Ahrefs, a bunch of different tools these days. But also you can't just, throw all to AI. We want to also note those competitors, their structure, their content, their flow, like what kind of topics are put above, what kind of topics are put below, which one goes first, how long is their article, do they include multimedia like videos or infographics or Pinterest pins. So then these will provide you ideas on how you can improve your existing article against them. Other ways to do that include looking at related searches. So these are Google featured snippets that you can also glean ideas from to see what other information readers are asking about related to that main topic. So when you go to Google and before you hit the search button, you can see the drop down of all the related terms related to the core keyword. This one is also can be found in the search engine result page based on closely related keywords, terms related to the core keyword. So other ways to re-optimize include, improving your user experience. That's always important. That's the core thing that Google is looking for. They are able to assess the site's quality based on how long and how people interact with your site. So look at your accessibility, your text size. Is it big enough? Are the colors contrasting enough? Do you have way too many ads? Do you have a long loading speed? Things like that. And then again, we're talking about new year, right? So if you have anything that's outdated information, you definitely want to update them. If you have any seasonal periods in your title, you want to change 2023 to 2024 and then update the information. And of course, link building is a whole other topic, but also essential for helping you to rank on Google, especially with super competitive keywords. Now, know, like, trust. I'm sure you guys might already be familiar with these terms. Basically, we want to establish a clear funnel to achieve the following path. Through attractive headline, we want to first attract your audience to know about your site and then be interested to click in. Then you want to pique their interest and get your visitor to engage in other posts of yours, sign up for your newsletters, etc. This is where you can build your brand as an authority and make people aware of what you have to offer within your blog. And all this with the aim of turning your audience members into potential customers. And finally, once you've established their trust, they're more likely to turn into a paying customer, whether it's buying a product or service that you sell, or even booking, the tours or hotels that you recommend. So that's why we have to look at search intent. Search intent is figuring out what the user is searching for on a search engine and then delivering that answer to them, kind of like reverse engineering, right? So these users, they likely want to get ideas, they want to know something, they want to do something, they want to go somewhere, they want to buy something. And that's why I get my students to do this exercise. We want to categorize all of our content, all of the blog posts that we have, into 3 broad search intent types. Inspirational. So basically people who are window shopping, posts that are like talking about inspirational quotes, most beautiful islands in the world, best history blogs. They are classified as inspirational. Informational content are searches performed to answer specific questions or to learn about something. Think of it as potential customers that enter the shop. They're already 1 foot in the door. Your job is to then get them more interested in the products that you're showcasing and how to browse and for them to browse more. So it should answer the 5W and 1H. Why, when, where, who, which, how. For example, how to bake a pancake, how to use a gorilla pot, how to shoot in low lighting, which kebab store in Lisbon is the best, things like that. So consider these queries your opportunity to acquire leads to be converted later, to establish your brand as an authority, and make people aware of what you have to offer. And lastly, transactional posts are searches performed to buy something. So potential customers who they already know what to buy, they already have they're convinced that they came into the store, they want to purchase something before they leave. So all it takes is 1 click to convert them. The key then is to convince them to convert and purchase. For example, the lightest drone cameras, the best boots for alpine trekking, or the best toner for acne skin. They have a problem with their skin and they know they need a toner, but which is the best toner? So yeah, if you haven't done this exercise before, I would highly suggest having a spreadsheet to classify, to basically have a database of all of your posts and then classify them based on inspirational, informational, and transactional. The question is, what is the point of intent? So we want to provide a smooth user journey. Look for inspiration or get information about a particular destination. You want to answer those questions and then anticipate what other questions they may have. So for example, let's say you wrote a guide about a travel guide for Palawan, Philippines, or the best islands around Palawan to visit. That they'll be looking for tours, snorkeling recommendations, accommodation to stay. So these are all money posts that can be made and where you should be directing your users to. And so by categorizing your articles into these 3 broad search intents, we would be able to have a clearer top-down idea at what the search intent of your articles are. And from there, we can identify missing gaps. Do you have too many inspirational content that lead your users to nowhere after? Does a specific informative article draw readers to a specific but relevant transactional page? So let's say, this is one good example. Say I have a post on things to do in Cartagena, Colombia. People the users have come in, they perused my article, they're like, okay, these are the things to do. What next, right? They probably are looking for accommodation. So I should have a supporting transactional article to direct these users, these already very engaged users, to probably the recommendations for like hotels to stay in Cartagena. So with this exercise, you can also eliminate low value posts and prune them. So for example, maybe I realized that, okay, this post, it doesn't really get a lot of traffic, and I don't really have supporting posts. So maybe I decide to, you know, delete them. So yeah, with this exercise, you can work on your content strategy, starting with your best performing posts, because you don't want to miss out on monetizing all the traffic that you're getting organically. And so if you're able to follow these guidelines, you should be well on your way to be ranked on the first page, or even the first #1 on Google with the keywords that you've targeted. Yeah, okay, so over to you. I'm curious, what is the biggest takeaway? What can you do today to improve your site, to make your site one step more relevant and more updated? The easiest, you know, lowest hanging fruit. Yeah, put it in the chat box below. But before I wrap up, I also have a little something for you. Run my blog full time, from like the best WordPress plugins to the best hosting cost, to the best hosting, as well as, you know, different tools that I use to improve the blog a little bit every day. So if you're interested, you can grab your copy by scanning this QR code here. Also, it's the same QR code, but there are a bunch of other links, resources, and videos in the same QR code. Also happy to answer any question from here on.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Isabel. Do you need a sip of water or anything? I know it's a lot to go through all that.
Yeah, thank you.
No problem. We have a smaller group today, so you're in luck. Those who are here, you know, you can really get specific with any question you might have. Use this as an opportunity to get truly a customized audit opportunity from Isabel and ask really specific questions. We don't always get that opportunity, and because we changed the time zone for this one, we can offer that. But I definitely have a question for you, Isabel, which is, let's say I did that audit on my website and it pulled up all the different areas of concern where there's different areas of improvement on my website. Can you talk a little bit about prioritization, especially if some would turn into costing money? Like I had to invest in getting somebody to fix it, or maybe my time. What are some of the things we should prioritize, in what order?
Yeah, good question. So let's say we've decided how I went about my site audit is looking at which has the best potential to. So okay, I'll deal with the easiest stuff first, right? Let me just close this and jump back to the slides with the guiding questions. Yeah, this one. Yeah, I'll do the easiest things first. Anything that's super not relevant anymore, like my blog, it's 9 years old. I used to have stuff about student travel, and then now I have stuff about digital nomad travel, and I have stuff about like camera gear. So anything that I no longer have any interest in continuing, I would just remove that. So that's the easiest to remove. Followed by looking at I will first do this, and then next I will look at some of the higher potential. So basically looking at the list here. So for example, I have things to do in Santa Marta that is doing really well. And then I'll look at like supporting articles that are doing not so well, because if I'm already getting, I want to maximize the amount of traffic that I'm already getting. So if I'm already getting a lot of traffic to this things to do in Santa Marta, Colombia, Then anything supporting, like if I had an article about, where to stay in Santa Marta, or like best beaches in Santa Marta, I would optimize those and then make sure to interlink within this popular post to make sure that people are getting the information, everything related to Santa Marta, if that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. Okay, super helpful. Anybody else have a question? Can we talk a little bit about affiliate links? Because I think that's also a really great transition into your work as an ambassador at SafetyWing. Like, how do affiliate links play into this and your SEO strategy? Do
Yeah.
they impact anything negatively? Do they impact anything positively? Like, how do we make sure we keep the quality of our SEO strategy high while still integrating those monetizable links?
So yeah, for as content creators, our primary goal is to serve our readers and to answer our readers' questions. And so with this user journey, we want to establish like a know, like, trust funnel. Basically, they don't know anything about you, and then they chanced upon your article, and then they realize that, wow, she's actually really knowledgeable about Colombia. And from there, you can either, serve them more answers regarding Colombia, or have them sign up to your newsletter, provide them freebies, giving them lots of value about Colombia. And then they're like, wow, this girl is this content creator is a leading expert in Colombia. So I would trust anything and everything she has to say about Colombia. And so then it's a very natural way for you to include affiliate links into your Colombia articles or your Colombia guides, because they have already like established trust, and they like what you are putting out there, and they know that you're giving so much value. So it's just natural for them to, one, want to support you, and two, trust your recommendations. So that is, I would say, the surest way of having high converting affiliate partnerships with your affiliate partners.
Amazing. Okay, perfect. So helpful. And then it wouldn't be fair if I didn't ask you about something that everyone's talking about in the blogging world, which is AI. Of course, ChatGPT has really gone mainstream. How are you thinking about these emerging technologies like artificial intelligence? What's the impact of it on blogging and SEO? And any final words you can share on that? And that'll be our last question for today.
Yeah, sure. So I've attended a couple of SEO conferences over the last year, 2023. And of course, this is the thing that everyone's talking about. One of the last conferences that I attended in Chiang Mai in November, almost everyone was hit by this Google algorithm update, because they were pruning. Okay, so imagine with the rise of AI, everyone is there is this inflation of content on the internet now. I've heard people, publishing 100 posts a day with AI. So that's insane amounts. And so I think this is why the Google algorithm updates are kind of clamping down on thin content, on AI generated content. And with the helpful content update I think it was released in October, or somewhere August, September, October, in the third quarter. A lot of the sites had more than 50% of their traffic get affected. So it is like, I still use AI. I'm not gonna lie. I still use AI. I still train my writers to use AI to get ideas, to have a skeleton of the content of the article that I'm writing about. But most importantly, as content creators, as real human beings, the reason why people still go to blogs, why they still go to YouTube, is because they trust real human stories. They wanna hear from like real humans and their recommendations. And so I believe there is a way to combine AI with your personal experiences. So as a blogger, as a travel blogger, you have a wealth of experience from all over the world. And so it's important to inject those personal experiences into those blog articles. And it can be used in tandem with AI, because AI is a great vehicle for doing research quickly. So as part of like providing the most informative article, you want to have the help of AI to do that research, but also, have that on-ground experience that users, that readers are looking for.
Amazing. Okay, perfect. Well, thank you so much, Isabel. We really appreciate you being here. Roy says the same. Fantastic presentation. Thank you for being here, Roy. So until next time, we will have this recorded and sent out to everybody. And yes, thank you again, Isabel. We'll end things here.
Thanks for having me.